Izakar Ur served as a librarian of the Thousand Sons during the Great Crusade and Horus Heresy. Once a resolute adherent to the Imperial Creed and champion of furthering the cause of humanity, Izakar would turn from the Emperor's light following the ruination of his homeworld at the hands of the Space Wolves Legion. As Prospero burned, Ur's temple would be invaded by the Wolf Lord of the 13th Great Company, Bolvi Greybeard, and Izakar would fight to defend his vast library filled with tomes of ancient arcane knowledge. As his brothers fell during the battle with the Vilka Fenrica, they would make the wolves of Fenris pay in blood for every step trespassed within their sanctuary of knowledge. Yet with time, the Space Wolves would whittle down Ur's men, forcing Izakar to take drastic measures. Attempting to summon an escape portal, Izakar would be confronted by Bolvi, who in turn would implore the Thousand Son to surrender. Incredulous at the Wolf Lord's assertion that he was a traitor to the Emperor, Izakar would denounce the Rout as traitors to humanity for the unprovoked assault of his homeworld and his library. The loss of such ancient tomes would have been used to better humanity's future, yet now amounted to little more than ashes. Completing his ritual, Izakar would activate the portal network and escape alongside his surviving men. Pursued by the Space Wolves, Izakar would watch them blunder aimlessly through the labyrinthine network, gradually splitting their forces. Quickly realizing the Rout's brash actions in their attempts to escape would threaten to destabilize the network, Izakar would use his psychic powers to guide Bolvi and his men to the center of the portal network to preserve its structural integrity. Surrendering to Bolvi, Izakar would explain his reasoning for allowing the Rout to meet him and offer a chance to return to Prospero without further bloodshed. Considering his proposal, Bolvi would inquire as to the fate of his remaining men still lost within the network. Admitting that such wayward wolves would likely be purged from the network with their absence, the old wolf would not accept the loss of any of his men to the machinations of sorcery. Splitting Ur's head open with his power axe, Bolvi would order his men to put down the remaining Thousand Sons within the portal network, as per his Primarch's instruction to take no prisoners. Izakar's ghost would haunt Prospero for 10,000 years thereafter, until his discovery by the rune priest, Njal Stormcaller. Seeking to recover his lost ancestors still trapped within the network, Njal, with the aid of the now reconstituted form of Izakar, would physically guide the long-trapped Space Wolves from their time-dilated prison.
Our oaths, the Allfather's command. We were betrayed already, Old Wolf.
Jurgen stood, foot still in place on Bolvi's wrist.
I overheard what the runecast said. Horus turned on the Allfather. Think about it, Volve. Horus turned on the Allfather.
We did nothing wrong, snarled Izakar. I told you before, imbecile, that your censure was misplaced. You would not listen. You forced us to defend ourselves.
What of it? We do the Allfather's bidding here. He determined your...
The old wolf's voice trailed away with realization, and his face twisted with consternation. The one called Jurgen explained as he stepped away and helped Bolvi to his feet.
That's right, Old Wolf. Our orders, they came from Horus. The Wolf King did not speak with the Allfather directly. The execute command was passed on by the War Master.
A knot of coldness gripped Njal's gut, knowing the details of the terrible saga that followed. Nightwing took flight with a shriek of dismay, circling above the gathered battle packs.
It was all a lie,
whispered the Stormcaller.
The Allfather never ordered the death of Prospero. The thrice-cursed War Master had already turned and sought to pave the way to his treachery by turning the Sons of Rus upon Magnus's legion.
Stunned silence followed the announcement of Stormrider. Old Guard and even Izakar absorbed the monumental consequences of that simple but most heinous of deceptions. The old wolf looked broken, axe limp in his grasp, head hung with shame. Njal assisted Izakar in standing up. The two foes who had just days and yet 10,000 years ago were intent upon each other's destruction, faced each other, united by the sudden revelation. You were not wrong, the Thousand Sons librarian said quietly, the word barely heard. You were tricked, and we see now the path that Magnus took my people. Not you, admitted Bolvi, lips barely moving. Had the route not destroyed Prospero, might we have been an ally? Surely that was the gambit of Horus. They looked at each other in mutual understanding. A sudden chiming noise rang about the impossibly vast hall, distant yet strong. Isakar's helmed face turned towards the other portal. Magnus is coming, he told them, voice touched with awe. He returned his attention to Bolvi. I feel his presence burrowing into the portal. As before, I control the means of your departure. They turned towards the white pillar, as though expecting the renegade Primarch to burst through right then. Or you can stay and fight, the librarian continued, his tone conveying contempt for such a plan.
We need of you, old wolf,
said Arjak. He gestured at the host assembled under Bolvi's command.
Out there, the heirs of the War Master took to topple what their master couldn't. A war that has raged for 10,000 years. Don't tell us about oaths. The Sons of Rus have been fulfilling such field words for 100 centuries. You wish to destroy Magnus? Come with us. Join your brothers, who we have already found.
A fresh interest brightened Bolvi's eye.
Already found? Warriors of the 13th?
Yes,
said Niall, cutting short the conversation before too much detail was revealed. Bolvi did not need to know yet that the majority of those 13th Company legionaries recovered from the warp had succumbed to the mutating curse of the Wolfen.
They will need a leader.
Do it,
Bolvi told Isakar.
Send us to Tiska as you would have done, if not for boar-headed pride.
The librarian approached the portal, arms raised, the words of the calculating incantation already spilling from his lips. The sheen within the circle of energy fractured, jolting forwards through an age, lifetimes passing in moments until the temporal distortion between the maze and Tiska were aligned. The sky was of a deep night, not dissimilar to what the Storm Riders had left. A few more words and the gate broadened, revealing a vista of the Pyramid of Photep. On the opposite side, squads and thralls and scattered space wolves turned in surprise at the sudden activity. Do you still desire my surrender? Asked Orr.
I think I do not.
Bolvi turned to his host and lifted his axe high.
We march for Tiska, the sharp teeth of Fenris and the throat of Magnus, once more.
Isakar's last act would be made in defiance of his Primarch, Magnus the Red, for his actions in leading his legion and kin down the path to damnation. For Isakar would remain loyal to the Emperor until the end, his fate no more than that of a victim of circumstance.